Hello, Christian Metal Community Group. We're here today with Brad Smith of formerly of Latter Rain, and he has a solo project out that we're going to get into, and it's something you are going to want to check out. And we got Jay here. How you doing, man?
Yo,
So yeah, we're on the leadership for Christian Metal Group, and we're happy to have Brad here today. So, Brad, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm out
Awesome.
in out in California, and I don't think it's currently on fire, so that's
Oh,
good.
that's Yeah, we would hate fire to get near those beautiful works of art behind you.
Oh yeah, that'd be a bummer.
That'd be devastating. Yeah. So, well, we always like to kick it off. So, tell us, did you grow up in a religious home?
Yes, yeah. My parents went to church, and they weren't really involved. They were kind of those, they go to church a couple times a month, I think,
Okay.
from what I can recall. And there were times where we didn't go to church, and there were times where we went to church more. So it was kind of, But for sure, if we didn't go to church, then we had a Bible study right there on the kitchen table. My dad would break out the Bible and say, "Okay, we're gonna
nice.
get into the Word." So yeah, I was pretty fortunate with that.
Nice.
Yeah, very true. What about a musical home that you grow up?
Yeah, we had a uh, we had a record player, and my mom, when she was younger, did a lot of singing in groups and stuff.
Okay.
But I never really saw her singing except for when there was a record on. You know what I'm saying? I never saw her perform, uh, but she did, and she told me about it a lot when she was a kid, and never really thought about getting into music in that way until my uncle. Gosh, I must have been, I don't know. I was still single digits, and uh, and my uncle. Slapped some headphones on me because he lived with us for a little while, and he was a rowdy guy. Let's just say that. And he slapped on some headphones and dropped the needle on a Kiss album, and I don't think I was the same since. Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah. What do you remember what album?
I'm pretty sure it was the first one, just Kiss,
Nice. Yeah.
and he dropped the needle on that, and I freaked out, and I was like, this is amazing." And we were shortly after that we left the city in Southern California, moved up to Northern California,
Okay.
and he said, "Here you go, kid. You can take all my Kiss albums." So I
Oh
think I had
wow.
about, I just it was only like two or three, but he gave them to me. I think it was like Rock and Roll Over, Kiss, and oh, it might have been Destroyer, something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but
And
yeah, it
Kiss
was all
changed your
pretty.
life.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And so I didn't do a whole lot with it. Yeah, I'd listen to it, and I was like, man, someday I'm going to be like Ace Frehley, and I'd look at that Alive 2. Maybe it was Alive 2 he gave me, but anyway, I'd look at that gatefold and just go, and I just imagine I was at the concert, and imagine I was Ace Frehley. I don't know why I just decided I was going to be Ace. Out of all four of them, that's the one I
Yeah.
focused on. I guess most kids do. They focus on the lead guitar that's making the most noise. And then of course, starts the '80s, and I discover Ozzy Osbourne, the Scorpions, and all that
Mm.
stuff. And my so the record covers kept getting a little racier, a little crazier, a little scarier, I guess. And you know what those Ozzy record covers look
Oh
like, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So my mom was, oh man, she was
Bark at the
she was
Moon. Was it
freaking.
Bark at the Moon? And he's like a werewolf or something like that.
What was that?
So it's like Bark at the Moon, where he's like a werewolf or something like that.
Oh yeah, all that stuff, and yeah, I mean, even the cover of Blizzard of Oz is pretty
Oh yeah,
disturbing
Blizzard of Oz.
if you're in a religious home. So
Yes.
so yeah, my mom, came to find out a lot later. She was hitting her knees every night, and she was just like, "Lord, please." And I was still plugged into the church. You know, I didn't really see a problem with it. I still don't to some extent, but when you're young, you know, it's very important, and you got to be careful. Um, and I understood. I understand now where she was coming from in her concern. But yeah, she was hitting her knees every night, just praying that I wouldn't get carried away with this stuff,
Right.
and and yeah, but I was still, you know, I was still helping out with a youth group at church, and I was, my goodness, I was 12, 13, 14, I don't know, and um, the youth pastor. Well, I went to a really, so when I moved to the country, and it was small. So we went to this little non-denominational church. So I was involved there. So it was all good. But then, you know, when you start hitting 15, 16, then you're getting pretty impressionable, and you start, you know, rolling with the crowd and doing what they're doing. But long story short, she discovered, I think probably about the time I was about 14, 15, but I think I was a freshman. She went into a Christian bookstore in town because we lived about like 30 minutes outside of town, you know.
Mhm.
And she went into a Christian bookstore and she goes, "Help me." She goes, "I need, my son is listening to this heavy metal stuff and it's just scares me to death." And I'm praying every night, and they're like, "Well, you know, we got this, these guys look scary. They got this band called Striper."
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
really?
They look
so
scary.
Yes.
No, but to a mom, to a Christian
Yeah.
mom
Oh yeah.
in the 80s,
Yeah, the way they were
these
dressed back then.
these yeah, the long hair, the tight clothes, you bet. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so they hooked her up, and she came back, and she goes, "Here, check this out." And I was like, "Oh, mom, where'd you get this?" And she's like, "The Christian bookstore." I'm like, "Oh, really? Oh, this ought to be fun." And it was a cassette tape, uh, yellow and black, and of course I popped that in and changed my life. And um, I got a guitar shortly after that, and then just started to play all the time, and just knew that's what I wanted to do. Um, and yeah, then I moved down to Southern California after I graduated in about '86, and started a couple different bands, and about '92 ended up in Latter Rain.
Wow. What's
So,
the first? What's the first concert you remember going to?
oh, excuse me. I think that was Kiss. Ace had already left.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, it was 80, must have been 81 ish. I think
That would
that's
have
when
been
Ace,
with Eric Carr.
uh, I think Peter was still
Peter.
there. I want to say Peter was still there, but Ace was gone and Vinny had stepped in.
Oh wow, Vinnie Vincent. Yeah.
Vinny Vincent. And, man, what a, yeah, yeah, it was when you're used to Ace, Vinny is just a lot. uh, so he was loud and just furious and flashy, and I was just like, okay. But yeah, I got to see my band, and I missed, you know, not being able to see Ace, but it was still pretty cool. So yeah, that was my first concert.
Nice.
Super.
Yeah.
Oh well. So tell us how many. First of all, how many instruments do you play? And let's talk about your journey into uh, playing guitar. So you have like a million guitars over there. So we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Uh, I do have a few. There's a story about that in my CD. I don't know if you opened it up and read the inside, but there's a little bit of story about how I ended up with so many. I didn't used to have so many. It's only in 2024 I ended up with quite so many. It was the Lord turned a very dark situation into a blessing, and
Mm.
it still blows my mind. But I just play guitar mainly, but I can play drums a little bit. I can play bass, okay, okay enough to play bass on my record. That's I'm the only bass player on there, so I did all the guitars, all the bass, um, and then you know, I I thought I was a singer before I became a guitar player.
Ah,
And one of the first little bands I started in high school, my mom still had she had a microphone and this little PA, barely a PA. It was more like a stereo system that you could plug a microphone into. And I would crank up Iron Maiden, uh, Flight of Icarus. And I'd show my mom. I'd be like, "Hey, check this out, mom!" And I'd be singing "Flight of Icarus." I thought I was singing "Flight of Icarus." I don't think I was very close at all. And but I thought I was good, and she was still encouraging. She was like, "Okay, well, keep practicing, and be careful you don't scream and hurt your voice." And so I got this band together. I found these guys in you're talking about living in a very small town and outside of that town, and I found these guys, and
so
we
how
got
did
together.
you find them? Was it like an ad,
Well,
or did you run into them
so
somewhere?
there was a guy that so I lived, like I said, 30 minutes outside of town. So where I went to high school, I just hop on a bus and go 30 minutes to town to go to high school. So I found this guitar player who was one grade younger than me, and I don't know how I remember finding him. He had some longish hair, so I figured that's a guitar player.
That's right.
Or that's a musician, or that's a metalhead. Um, uh, so I said, I was just talking to him, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get this band together. I'm a singer, whatever." And got him, and then we found this guy that was probably 20 years older than us that was hanging out. Like it was kind of a situation. I don't know what it was from just a kid's perspective. I don't know, but he lived with his mom. He was probably 35, 40, and we're 14, and but I found out that he played drums for through some probably at church, just these people, their son's a drummer. So anyway, so I got him to come over to the house and bring his drums, and so we had our first little practice. I wrote some song. We were working on a cover, which was "For Whom the Bell Tolls," and
Okay.
so we were working on that, and I had an original song that I'd written called something about the beast. I don't know. It was just, it was, it was designed to scare people, and it was. So, so we're sitting there taking a break, and I told the guitar player, I said, "Hey," and this is before I picked up the guitar, and I said, "Hey, show me a little something." So he goes, "Okay, how about Rock It Like a Hurricane?" I'm like, "Oh, I love that song. Yeah, sure." So he showed me how to do a power chord, and by the end of our break, I was playing it, and I was like, "Is it supposed to be like this? Is this how easy guitar playing is?"
Ah,
And he was like, "Not really." And so then from from that point on, I was like, "Okay, I don't think I'm a singer anymore. I think I'm a guitar player." So that's all I pursued for most of my career was just
oh
playing
wow.
guitar. And it was only until I started doing my own little records that I was like, and um, Lewis is the one that really encouraged me to work on my voice. And I used to do backups in Latter Rain, but he's the one that really encouraged me to, hey, develop your voice, develop your sound, and so yeah, then I
So
started singing.
what is your prized possession for a guitar? Which one?
Yeah.
And then which
Oh
one is
boy!
your and then also which one is your go to for playing?
All right. Well, do you want me to tell the Reader's Digest story of how I ended up with so many guitars?
Yeah, let's go
Oh,
for it. That's why we're here.
Okay. Well, it's just I'll try to yeah. So basically, well, all through Latter Rain and up to now, I think I've had I don't know, probably 10 guitars. Just probably 10, 11, something like that. I don't even remember but enough. I had enough. I had enough to do what I had to do. And, and, oh man, I'm getting way off track. I'm gonna start
Okay.
going,
It's all
going,
good.
going down a rabbit hole. How much time do you guys have?
We're
Yeah.
good, man. Go ahead.
Anyway, probably my latest guitar. Before this happened, and this was about 10 years ago, and I stopped buying guitars after then. But my wife surprised me after I had a 40th birthday party, and Oz Fox joined me and Lewis and the band in my backyard, and
Oh wow.
hopped on stage, and he brought the Bullet guitar. You know, the one with the
Yeah.
bullets on the front, right? The
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that he's holding on soldiers.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
he showed up with that in my backyard, handed it to me, grabbed my Epiphone Les Paul, which is pretty cheesy, and he's like let's go, and I think we did Rock and Roll All Night, and maybe Zeppelin. Been a long time since rock and roll, that one,
Man,
and
that's really cool. That's some great memories right there.
I
and
know that's
and
right.
I picked up his Jackson, and that's all I could talk about for the next few days. My wife was like, she's just rolling her eyes, going, "Oh my goodness, you're going on and on about this Jackson guitar. I mean, Oz Fox was in your backyard. Yeah, that's cool, but no, his guitar, you don't understand." So, uh,
Yeah.
so she surprised me for my birthday that next year, or a couple of years after that. She worked with and so this leads into the story. So she worked with
Okay.
my
Sure.
cousin. So she worked with my cousin. So my cousin is a year younger than me, and we grew up just in love with heavy metal. I mean, just rock and roll, everything that had six strings and sounded loud. We were into. We'd roll out to concerts together. And so he secretly worked with her and was like, "This is what he wants. He wants a Jackson, a Dinky. This is what Oz Fox's guitar is, and it's got to be a USA made." So she went and got that for me, and I'll show you. It's right behind me, hanging on the wall. So I'll show you what that one looks like. But so that cousin, his name is Rob, and I dedicated my album to him. He passed away
Hmm.
in June of 24, and
Okay.
yeah, so he had some health issues, and did not take care of them. Stubborn guy, and I love him to death, but he was so stubborn, and and he was just a lone ranger, did things by himself, and he was an avid guitar collector.
Oh,
So
okay.
he collected guitars of every kind. And long story short, my aunt, his mom, she lives out of state, and just said his storage unit is in Huntington Beach. Here's how I think you're going to get into it, and go down there and take what you want and give it away. I don't care what you do with it. Take what you want to keep, and you can sell the rest. You can give them away, whatever you want to
Wow.
do. So yeah, that's what happened. So
Right.
let me take you guys on a little trip here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Trip, a trip.
let me see if I can do this here.
Preach it, Jay.
I,
I hear
I
that.
knew
I
how
hear
to.
that in the background.
hmm
All right,
All right.
so this is my studio,
Yeah.
um, and so let me see. I'm just gonna hold it around like this, and I'll just tell you what you're probably looking at.
Okay.
Lots of Charvel from the early '90s. That's Ingves Fender,
Oh wow.
um, Fender Strat with the scalloped frets. Gu- Guitar player dudes will know exactly what that is. This is a Dave Mustaine Flying V.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Super cool, dude.
yeah, it's an ESP Dave Mustaine. Um, this is Paul Reed Smith. You see the bird inlays. It's the
Mm.
acoustic guitar that Lewis gave me um, for helping him on his record. It's my Fender Strat, Fender Telly. This is George Lynch, Skull and Snakes, same graphic as the Wicked Sensation album from Lynch Mob. George
Yeah.
Lynch, Tiger, custom. Skipping this one for a second. This is a George Lynch Kamikaze. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Yes, I
Okay.
love that.
This one, if you go check out the Empire video for Queensryche, you'll see this guitar. There's only about 3 of them made, and this is not the one that was in the video. I'm hoping Michael Wilton still has that, but this is one of the 3, I think, that were made for him for that
That's
video. And
impressive. Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty cool guitar. I'd be honest with you, I don't play it outside the house anymore. Once I found out about
Yeah.
its history, it stays there. And then this is Jackson Flying V, and then this is the Jackson my wife bought me, and then some Marshall amps, fun, lots of Marshall amps. I'm kind of in the middle of something, so it's a little junky over here, and then some other guitars, various guitars from different places. That one with the orange shark is made in Australia. My cousin was fond of this guitar company
wow.
called Ormsby. That's a BC Rich from a NAMM show. Ibanez. I don't even know what this guitar is, but it's really cool. It's a 7-string.
Yeah,
I need someone to teach me how to play 7 strings. It's hard enough with 6.
I was about to ask about that too, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I got this album. I put a little bit of this on my record before I put it out. I figured out what I wanted to play on it, and I did. It turned out being some clean stuff, but it was kind of fun. This is a Charvel from about 1990. It's another Charvel from about 86, which is the year I graduated high school, so that's pretty awesome.
Oh wow.
This guitar, Jeff Loomis, is a Jeff Loomis Schecter.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, 7-string. So Ovation, nice Ovation. Pretty similar to the one that Richie Sambora played on Dead or Alive, I think.
Yeah.
The video. Yeah, that's about it. Got some bases.
So which one is your
my favorite? Oh boy, it's like trying to.
They're like kids. You can't ask that.
Yeah. Do you have any kids that are your favorite? I mean, come on.
It depends.
Don't answer.
It depends on the day.
Yeah, on the day of the yeah. Don't answer that. I gotta say, I don't know. I think it's a toss up between the one that my wife got me,
and then those other 3, the colored ones.
Yeah, these are pretty stunning
right here. This one, and even the Flying V over there.
Yeah,
that one right there. Yeah, I think those 5.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Huh?
Immediately are the ones I like as far as aesthetic wise.
Uh-oh.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would say it's a toss up between I don't know. Yeah, somewhere in here, and the one that my wife got me. But yeah, this.
Now what's that?
This one
what's displayed right there under the guitar? What you got displayed under the guitar?
You know what that is?
Oh, that's your album.
Oh, that?
Oh, nice. I see. I couldn't see.
Oh, that's.
No, I mean the album.
That's my album. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's some Latter Rain albums.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, yeah. And that's some deer. I don't know if you guys are into deer hunting, but yeah, that's another hobby of mine.
Nice.
That's why.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, I just moved to an area with a lot of deer, and I feel like hunting all of a sudden.
You do now? Well, you have to give me a call. I'll talk you through it.
Let's go. I mean, they are out. I mean, I'm like, dang, it's been snowing, snow everywhere, and I've still got deer running across the street. They're just death wish.
Yeah. You definitely got to pay attention to those that driving at night.
Man, for sure.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yo, so listening to your music, some of it reminded me of a certain artist, and I'll
Me
get
too.
into that in a little bit. Yeah,
Me too.
like just
you were you were thinking you were going to see one of his guitars here, huh?
Yeah.
no. Like just thinking about like the just the style of music, preferred style of music. You already, I know you talked about Kiss and you talked about Striper already, so
Right.
I
I haven't
can
even
I can
talked about
hear
that.
I can hear that some of that type of influence in your music for sure. But
Right.
what what inspired you the most to choose this kind of style? And in fact, what would you define your style as far as even like subgenre of hard rock or metal or whatever? Um,
Yeah.
all
Well,
of those kind of
um, before I answer that, uh, what do you play, Jay?
I play keys and drums mostly, but a
Oh,
sword.
okay, cool. Oh, okay, so I don't really have much to entertain you here.
Oh no, you're good, dude. No, so here's the thing. Even though those are my main two instruments, like the writing style that I do, like I'm usually writing either metal or jazz,
Oh,
basically.
cool.
So I'm constantly writing riffs. I don't play guitar per se, but I'm sure if I picked up a guitar, then I could probably like
Or
hammer out some riffs. But I'm
or he's blending them.
Oh yeah, and I'm blending a lot of styles too. But
Right.
yeah, but they like yeah.
That's
So I'm all down for this guitar conversation. I just need to
okay, cool.
I need to just
All right.
apply. Like I think if I get a nice six string or especially a seven string, I'm sure I'd probably be on guitar all the time.
So, so
Oh my
Jay,
goodness.
so I got something that's it's probably gonna be different from what. But when you say you listen to this music and all, who specifically, what artists are you thinking of that he
Okay, the
reminds you of?
guitar wise, honestly, I thought about like Troy Thompson and Ken Tamplin and
Okay.
just that kind of style, but
Wow.
more
Okay.
modern. But it reminds me of a more modern sound. I think that the kind of stuff that Iron Maiden's been doing, the kind of stuff that Wasp has been doing, like lately.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Wasp. I can see some of that.
Their sound, like listening to Letter Rain, it reminds me in a lot of ways of some of that music. It's like
So,
it has that '80s flavor, but with modern production.
so,
That's
so.
not the that's not the name I expected you to drop,
Which
Jay.
one were you
That's
thinking about?
well, I don't know if you've been onto Rocks Records website, but they put it right there under for fans of, um, and uh, Bill labeled it as the Black Label Society or
Yeah,
Uh,
Zach
Zach
Wild. Yeah,
Wild.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, you
So,
can understand when you sing, you can understand it. So I wasn't thinking him.
yeah,
Ah,
no. That's funny, but guitar wise, so here's the thing. Obviously Zach is a shredder for sure,
yeah.
and he is like. But what's funny is like I think I listened to Black Label Society for a few years, but I think when I heard him working with Derek Sherinian, you familiar with Derek Sherinian, formerly of Dream Theater?
Hmm.
So
What project would that be?
just Derek Sherinian, he has a project.
I,
He has a bunch of solo albums under his name, and
but
Zach
you're saying
also.
Zach works with him?
Yeah, and also Ingwe.
Okay.
He works with them. There's a couple songs with both of them on the same track.
Oh wow,
Wow. Okay. Cool. I gotta
I
find that.
need to check that out.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta check those out. Simon Phillips usually is playing drums for those projects also.
so,
Cool.
so here's where I went listening to your solo album. Okay,
All right.
and this isn't the guitar playing, so it's a different aspect, because the Jay picks up on the more of the music. But to me, this is what I'm thinking: the style of music and your vocals. Do you know who Chuck Garrett is?
I don't.
He's
I'm sorry.
he's the bassist for Alice Cooper,
Hmm.
and he has his own band called Beasto Blanco. And
Interesting.
Alice Cooper's daughter is in that band with Chuck. They have a band together, and just that. If you go check them out, that right there, I saw them. I went to Atlanta and saw them a couple years ago, and I don't know, just that raw, heavy rock sound and everything. That's what it reminded me of. So
All right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
cool.
So you got a
Well,
lot, you got some really good variety going on there.
I was I didn't argue with Bill. You guys know Bill, right? Or
Yeah,
you know
Uh,
about Bill?
yeah, yeah, Bill, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
You didn't argue with him. Good.
no. Well, you know, last year before my album came out, I forget when it was, but so we live pretty close to each other. He
Hmm.
lives about 20
Oh, okay.
20 minutes down the street from me.
Sure.
Um, and uh, Zach came to town, but it was with his Zach Sabbath group,
Oh,
right?
uh-huh.
Absolutely.
So I'm standing there watching Zach, and but yeah, I'm watching Zach, and I look over my shoulder, and I'm like, man, that guy. I hadn't met Bill in person yet, and I kept looking over. That guy looks a lot like Bill. That guy looks a lot like Bill. He keeps looking over at me, going, I don't know what he's thinking, but so finally after the show, I walk over there. I'm all Bill. He's all Brad. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, so he's seen me at a Zach show basically. So I think that was his first go to after he heard what I did. Um, but yeah, Zach, I've always been a fan. I mean, starting back when he joined Ozzy, it was just a natural thing, and it just sounded really good. So I've always been a fan of his guitar tone, and then
Yeah.
uh, Black Label started, and I was a fan of his songwriting style. So yeah, for sure, I adopted a lot of that. But the Bride and the Ken Tamplin comparison, I find very fascinating because uh, basically Ken Shout's first album
Hmm.
and Bride's what's the one with the black horse on the front? Is it Resurrection? Is that what it's called?
Right.
Anyway,
I gotta check.
yeah,
I gotta check that
one
out.
of Bride's one of Bride's first albums,
Oh,
and
I
I
know
saw
exactly what
Bride.
you're talking about now. Yes.
Yeah,
Was it Live to Die? Hold up, let me find out.
yes, it's Live to Die. Anyway, so I saw them before that record came out, and I heard a lot of those songs live at Fontana High School at this place called His Festival. So
Mhm.
back in those days, I mean, Christian metal was blowing up a lot in SoCal, so I got to go to a couple different things, and so I went to see Bride, and I just thought they were amazing. And so when that record came out, I bought it and I just played the wheels off that thing. Really, really liking that. And Ken's first Shout album, when that came out, I just played the wheels off of that. That was just some really good stuff. I hadn't heard stuff of that quality, of course, since you got the big Striper, Bloodgood, Barren Cross, and after that, it got a little fuzzy. But those guys, as far as Christian bands, were
That's
obviously
awesome.
really,
You got to see
really good.
them
So
in the you really got to see them in their heyday and all. That's awesome. Jay
yes,
and I
oh
were
yeah,
here, we saw Bride last year and Shout at Immortal Fest in Ohio, which
right.
was I mean, that's Bride. There's always a chance you think maybe you'll get to see them again one day or whatever. But Shout, we were like, there's no way. But
Right,
they pulled it
exactly.
off, man. They got them up there, so that was awesome. It was great, great show.
That's
What's
that's incredible.
What's funny is I live in Kentucky, and I've known Jerry for quite a while. I've kept up with Dale through the years. My wife literally DJ'd Dale's son's wedding.
Oh wow,
Oh wow, that's cool.
His son Zachary. But we, I never got to see them live. I think anytime they were playing, like even in the last few, the years before they just split for quite a while, like they played locally, but I was always gigging myself, so it was like this is impossible. But yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, Brian,
no,
amazing
yeah,
people. Yeah,
that,
and also I did just look up that album, and it is "Live to Die." I'm proud of myself for
yeah.
You nailed it,
Good
Jay.
job.
You nailed it.
Christian metal history.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's
But
all in
hey,
here somewhere, man. We got it. We got it in here. We just
yeah,
got to figure out
right.
what. So, well,
But
that's awesome.
I was going to add one more thing, just
Yeah.
because you were asking me to describe really what style I think it is, and
Yeah.
that's hard. So Lewis uh, helped me a lot with that album as far as the writing.
Okay.
Yeah, so he helped me with the basically if anything stunk, he would put his foot down and say no, you're not going to do that. So he was a producer on that album for sure.
That's
And
awesome.
and so we kicked it around, and we're like, okay, if you average out the songs and the style that they're in, we came up with um, heavy Southern rock,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
a really or heavy Southern metal, if you will.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but there's some songs that aren't considered metal. I would not consider them metal. They're just hard rock, and then other ones they border on metal, but they've got a real. And I actually what's kind of funny is I'll go ahead and confess it. Don't show it to them because I haven't told them yet. But when I wrote when I wrote Broken Bones and Bullet Holes, the song, I was thinking, man, as it's coming out of my fingers and I'm starting to sing it, I'm like, I feel like I'm ripping Fear Not off. I feel like
All
I
right.
feel like I just found one of their unreleased songs, and
Yeah.
here I am
Well, now
stealing
that
it.
you mention that, I can see that. I can hear the Fear Not influence there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
That's fair.
because they the yeah because Fear Not's definitely got that southern hard rock
Right.
vibe.
And
They
and
did
that's the song that's probably, and I'll just be honest, that's like I would say that's my favorite song on the album. You
Cool.
know, if I go listen to it some more, I'm sure there's some other songs that would really stand out, but that's the one that I keep like going back to.
oh
But
cool,
that's also the song that, in my mind, that's the song that reminded me of the Beast of Blanco album. So,
Hmm.
okay,
um, yeah. So it's real. It's just that gritty, hard rock, raw. I love it.
yeah.
Um,
So I still got to call up Larry and say, hey man, sorry I jacked your style, but you know what? I've been stealing from Fear Not since we were playing since we
well,
were playing together down here
well,
in the
I got
'90s.
I also saw Fear Not the last 2 years at Immortal Fest, and they put on a great show. And he's a pretty humble guy. I don't think Larry would mind you doing that. So,
No, I know he
uh,
wouldn't. He actually helped. Well, I don't know if you remember, but on Latter Rain 2, he put some vocals on uh, on Desire
okay,
because back in the '90s we did a single for Heaven's Metal, and that same song. It was a different production, but we did that song, and Larry produced it for us, and the guitarist in Fear Not at the time, I think it was still Love Life, John Gadesi was our engineer. Um, but yeah, so yeah, he helped us record that song way back then. So I thought it was
yeah.
only fitting to have him put some vocals on it.
So
Um,
that's awesome, man.
yeah.
So go ahead and give us a little history of Latter Rain, and then kind of up till to releasing your solo album. Kind of how did
All
that
right.
form, and what did that look like?
All right. Uh, so let's just start with I was doing a Christian band called Promise. Wasn't going anywhere. We were practicing at the church that I attended, um, but I was playing with Dave, and now he's the drummer on the first Latter Rain demo,
Okay.
and so I was jamming with him and some other guys, and Dave was getting his hair done because we all had big, beautiful hair back then, right?
Yeah.
So his hairstylist was July's wife.
Oh
Okay,
wow. Okay.
July's the bass player, um, and Lewis's brother, right? And so he's getting his hair done, and she's like, "Hey, do you know any guitar players?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, there's one in my band." And she was like, "Hey, do you mind if my husband gives him a call?" And so he was like, "No, that's okay." So anyway, um, so I met Lewis and July, and I showed him the stuff I've always had like a 4 track, and I've always recording stuff. So I showed him the stuff I was working on, and um, they were like, "Oh man, can," and they just like they must have liked it because they were like, "Let's go, dude!" And
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, we just started just like that. I mean, not really even an audition, just let's just go, let's just do it. We like what we hear, so yeah, so we started, and shortly after we got started, Latter Rain's drummer moved on to other things, and I didn't really even get to know him. I think that was Ryan Kane. I don't remember exactly. I wish Lewis he would tell me. He would but anyway, so he went away, and then they were like, "Hey, Brad, why don't you ask Dave? What's Dave doing now that you're not in his band?" And so I was like, "Okay." So Dave joined, and then you know we were off and running, and we just took a lot of the songs that I had on 4 track there, and I just gave them over to Lewis and was like, "Okay, make them Latter Rain songs." And so he did the same thing with some of his secular songs from Renegade. He took and made them into Latter Rain songs, and then Glenn had some songs too, and we just kind of put them in a blender and made them all Latter Rain songs, and that was our demo.
Nice.
And we were so we would play all kinds of churches and festivals. Ended up doing the biggest thing we did, I think, was Superfest up in the mountains here in SoCal. It was a pretty big deal back then, but that was about 93 ish. I think that was 93. So we've been together about a year or so, and anyway, so that was pretty cool. And so yeah, we've been playing with Fear Not just every chance that we got, um, and we also played with Guardian a little bit, and we played with well, it's Barren Cross in one of our
Oh, that's
gigs.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of one. It was kind of a low key dream of mine, Barren Cross. I was really just taken with Atomic Arena. I just thought that was the best
Yeah.
sounding record they
Mm-hmm.
ever
Yeah.
did. And
We're trying to get an interview with one of those
Be there
guys here. Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're just yeah. So that was really cool, and it was really kind of cool to have oh, now I'm gonna what's his name? Sorry, Barren Cross guitar player. Uh, man, oh, I'm I'm pulling a blank here, but anyway, so they just kind of rolled in, and they needed our back line. He just brought a guitar, and so it was kind of cool to let him.
Ray Paris.
Ray Paris, there we go, Ray Paris.
Yeah. We're
I,
actually we're
I
going to be
was just
interviewing Jim Lavardes, who we trying to get connected with.
Hmm.
cool. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ray, he plugs into my amp, and that was kind of cool.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of the history of where we started, and and like I said, we had some fun gigs playing with a lot of different artists that went on to become bigger than we we were for sure. Um, and then we started working on what would become Latter Rain 2. We got an opportunity to go into the studio. Um, Glenn had won some contest or something, but anyway, got us some time in a studio, and we started recording, and then we were kind of halfway through. We had the drums and the bass and most of the guitar and most of the vocals, uh, and then we just kind of got a ADHD moment, and our manager at the time just jumped over to another studio and was like, "Hey, these guys, you know, this studio is where it's at. Um, PK Mitchell just recorded there, so you guys are
Oh, cool.
guaranteed to get a record deal if you just move over there you need to update your sound a little bit because this is 1995, and
Hmm.
and you know, uh, grunge has been little, you know, tearing up our kind of music for 3 years already, and
Right.
right, so they're like, you got to update your sound a little bit, and so then we went there, and we just banged out some new songs, and just a little bit heavier, and borrowed from a lot of Fear Not for sure. And so yeah, then we did that album, and of course we finished that album, and we tried shopping it around, and it was no good. Just could not couldn't get arrested with that album. Um, so then Latter Rain just kind of ended about 1996, and then fast forward to today, Bill Bafford and Rocks Records. Well, started with really Darth Creek. I don't know if you guys know Darth.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Weird.
just you'll see him. He follows this group, and
Cool.
he was yeah, he was just a hardcore fan, and he started just I started to talk with him uh 14 years ago, 12, 14 years ago, and he was like, "Hey, what about this? You guys ever going to release this or that?" And so it kind of didn't go anywhere right then, but then he found Bill and was like, "Hey, here's what I want you to do. I want you to find these guys, Latter Rain, and I want you to get their stuff out because I
Oh
want to."
wow.
Yeah. So he kind of sold it.
Yeah.
He was just like, and Bill, he remembered us from back in the day. I don't remember if he ever saw us, but he knew that we were doing stuff back in the day, and so that's what Bill's all about, is trying to find these bands that that have kind of went underground, and try to see what kind of stuff they got to bring it out again. So yeah, so first we did the demo tape,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then we did. And so that worked out well. And then we had to do. Bill was like, "What do you got next?" And we got this other album that we started and didn't quite finish. And so Lewis and I got together and started hammering stuff out and finishing whatever we could, and started working, to get that record done. And then we wrote a new song for it. We wrote a brand new song called.
So
Um,
you said that was about 15 years from the when y'all kind of disbanded till then.
Let me see. So it'd be. I would say closer to 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
about
20
20
years,
years.
and then y'all
Um,
released a new album. Yeah.
yep. So so we dug up Latter Rain 2. That's the one that we started and didn't quite finish.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
so Lewis and I were like, this album needs another song. Um, and well, actually, we didn't think that first. We were taking a ballad, and I'm not a fan of ballads. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Lewis Lewis gets kind of mad at me when I just shut down ballads. I'm just like, you know it'll be too soon if I never hear Honestly again. Um, no offense, I love you, Striper, but nah, I don't.
Honestly,
Nope.
we understand.
Nah. So yeah, so I took this ballad that Glenn had written, and I mean, we had like lush keyboard arrangements. We brought in a keyboardist to play the whole thing, and I was like, this song puts me to sleep. I love the chord arrangements, but it puts me to sleep. I said, Glenn, can I mess with it? He's like, yeah, sure, man. So I messed with the arrangement, and I just like took the speed controls, went wah, just totally, totally, and I came up with a whole new uh, riff, but still followed the basic chord structure. and so that you could sing the melody over it. And I showed it to Lewis, and he goes, "Nope, this is a whole new song." And he's all, "I'm not going to sing that melody. That's old. That's done. I mean, we tried that, didn't work. Let's just do a whole new song." And so he got so excited and was like, "Yep." So we did that. Got a brand new song for a, 20-something-year-old album.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we put that out, and then Bill's like, "What next?" And we're like, "Okay, we got this album we recorded in this fancy studio where P.K. Mitchell did his thing." And he's like, "Okay, bring it." So that one was pretty much done. We didn't have to do anything, and I was just like, "Lewis, I want to write a title track to it. I want to write a song called Order to Chaos." And I had some Zach Wildish riffs that were just kind of floating around, and I was like, "That's the one. I'm going to call that song Order to Chaos. Let me just fix it up a little bit." And so we did that, and I would say doing that song is what really kind of lit a little bitty fuse for doing my record.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and but what came between that? So we did that, and we let that. But while we were doing that, I guess it is at the same time. So it was at the same time while we were putting the finishes on that song, and giving Bill some time to breathe before we put out another record. um, uh, I helped Lewis produce his album. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah, so I wrote a bunch of riffs for his album because he's got such a head for melody. He just sings into his phone and he's got a song. I mean, just like that. He's got
Nice.
such great melody. So he would just hold his phone up, or he'd just send just some audio of him singing in his phone, or he'd just be strumming some chords on a guitar with a melody, and I'd be like, "I got it," and I just take it and put a riff to it and spit it back to him. He's like, "Yep, that's it." So yeah, so we did his album over that between basically Latter Rain 2 and Order to Chaos. We worked on his record in my studio here, and so yeah, we co-wrote all the songs on there. Well, there's a couple covers that he did, but yeah, all those we did, and that was super fun. Lewis and I kind of rediscovered that we really work well together, and really write stuff that we like. So that worked out really well. And in between those times, we have our another side project called Crimson Hope, which I don't know if you've heard the Christmas songs that I throw out every once in a while. Lewis and
Okay.
we write a couple Christmas songs every year. This year we only wrote, or this past one we only wrote one song, but yeah, we got this other side project. We like doing that. We might be writing a praise and worship album with that same side project
Oh, cool.
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just keep ourselves super busy, and then so when that all kind of came done, and we had Order to Chaos, and we had his record done, and this is the story I tell in the inside the CD. You take a look at it. Just I was expecting him. I was like, okay, I think we're gonna have to write another Latter Rain album. Here we've given like 3 records in less years, and probably less than 3 years, and I think people are going to be expecting another Latter Rain album.
Oh,
So I asked him. I said, "So what's next, my brother?" And he goes, I said, "How about a Latter Rain album?" He goes, "No." I said, "Oh." He goes, "You need to write your own stuff. You need to have
Wow.
a record." And
mm.
so I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Man, I just used up some really cool riffs and some really I just really had some inspiration writing your stuff. I don't know if I got anything left."
Mhm.
And so I was like, "All right then." So I just started thinking about Order to Chaos, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I could go that kind of vein." and I just picked up the guitar, and the Lord blessed me, man. It was it was just such a God thing. It wasn't anything else but that. I don't take any of the credit, man. I was going through some health things, and I was some days I was unable to sing, but I just did it anyway. I was like, I couldn't move my face or smile, but um, I just did it, man. I just asked the Lord to give me strength, and I just did it, and He blessed, and then boom, this record came out, and yeah, just like that, it was like it was all written inside of. I think it was written and rough tracked in a month. So the
Wow.
basically about February 1st last year, and about a week into March, I had written everything that was going to be on the album and had it rough tracked, and so then from that point on, it was just me recording the guitars exactly how I want them, and Lewis doing some backups and me doing the vocals when I could, and yeah, it was just that's how about that? That was a long, oh
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah.
yeah. So
And yo, that's definitely what's up, man. I love it. It's a great.
all right, cool.
Sometimes rock, and just trying to maintain as a musician overall, it's um it's interesting, especially
Yeah,
going for time. I can definitely relate just from playing music, being a pro musician for a couple decades now. It's like, man. So what
right, Jay.
is?
Do you ever have those times, Jay, where you're just like dry dry as a bone? You know, it's like you
Yeah,
don't feel very.
it's wild. I had one of those times a couple of years ago, actually, but then I listened to some music that really inspired me, and then things have been like up. I think I had like maybe 2 or 3 periods of time that I literally remember, like in my life, where I was like, "Oh,
You
feeling so good."
you like listen to John Coltrane, and then you put on a Tourniquet album, and then you're like, okay, now I'm good to
Yeah,
go again.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's sometimes it goes exactly like that. My
Yeah.
playlist has been insane, but I think it's cool. Like I said, and obviously sometimes inspiration, I'm sure, comes from, sometimes it may come from reading the Bible, it may come from illness, it might come from like whatever. But finding ways to be inspired is always, you know,
Yeah.
it's it's
Oh
always
yeah. I definitely identify with that, man. When I get stuck on lyrics, man,
mhm.
open up Psalms and
Yeah.
man, it's amazing, and Proverbs and even a little bit of Revelation
Oh
sometimes,
yeah,
and
Revelation is the metal book.
you get
Daniel and
Yeah.
right.
Revelation, both of those books.
Right, you get some good stuff, and there's plenty of that in my record, man. Yeah. Thanks, Lord, for letting me borrow your lyrics.
There you
Right.
go.
There you go. Hello. Exactly. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah. So as far as playing live, what I know things have changed so much in the industry. With like a lot of the
right.
streaming stuff, and a lot of musicians do find themselves finding that playing live is the way to actually make money nowadays. But what is the scene like in your area right now, especially
Mm.
for what you do,
Well,
solo artists and as a band?
yeah. In my area, I do a couple things, just but I don't need to make money. I have a job. I'm a teacher, so
Right, right.
um,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
need to make money. But
What do you teach?
I'm a high school teacher. I teach government and economics
Okay.
and a guitar class. I get
Oh,
to teach a
nice.
guitar class. So
That's cool.
um,
That's awesome.
I teach at a continuation school. So those are the kids that didn't do too well at the comprehensive high school,
Yeah.
and I get I get to help
I
them
love it
out.
though.
So
That's really cool.
it's great, man. God put me there for a reason, and I get to live it out every day. So it's
Hmm.
fantastic. Um, it's not easy, but it's great.
Right. Right.
So the bills are paid with that. Anytime I play live, it's just for fun. I mean, yeah, we. So I'm in a band that does 80s, basically 80s metal top 40. So
Yeah,
we play Rat, Motley Crue, uh,
super cool.
Scorpions, Ozzy. So that keeps my chops up, and that's something I really like to do. And plus, it gives me a reason to play some of these guitars. I mean, my goodness, it would be a crime not to. So, so yeah, so I do that with some friends of mine, and you know, we play well, 4 or 5 gigs a year. It's really we just go to like a local bar, and they let us play, and um, people have fun. People love to hear those songs. I mean,
They really
they'll
do. That is
yeah,
so
and so
interesting.
they dance and have fun, and that really makes me happy. You know, just people are having fun and dancing, and so that's cool. And then I got another band that I just kind of started with. It's a Gin Blossoms tribute band, so I'm not sure how that's
Are
gonna
you
work out.
shredding on that on the stage? Are you shredding?
Yeah, I can't shred with that. In fact, so I've been working with a buddy, and so he got me into this, and I told him right up front, I was like, you know, Gin Blossom's really not my wheelhouse. It's really not what I grew up on. But I'm open because I need a challenge. I need to try something different. And man, what a challenge that is to not just crank up the distortion and blast, and and do all that kind of stuff. And you got to really slow down, and you got to really choose your notes, and so yeah, I'm working with that right now, just trying to get myself together, and so yeah, we haven't done anything yet. We've had our rehearsal, and but yeah, so I just keep myself busy with those things to like I said, keep up a challenge, keep my chops up, and so that's as far as playing live. Yeah, they one of the guys, one of the I don't know if he's I'm sure he's a member to this site, but uh, you know, everybody knows everybody on these. Uh, but anyway, he tried to get a couple years ago tried to get a Southern California version of Immortal Fest going, and slapped Latterain's name on the ad man. And I go to open Facebook one day, and I was like, "Hey, Lewis, I guess we're playing this. I guess we're playing this festival. You better get yourself together." And I said, "We no," I said, "We better get ourselves together." I don't know what we're gonna do for the rest of the band, but you know, because anyway, so that kind of fortunately fell through. It didn't really happen because we would have had a lot of work to do. Um, but yeah, I'm open to doing. You know, if it's a, I'm open to Lateran playing. I'm open to doing my own stuff, but just need the right opportunity, and you know that kind of
Man,
thing.
you and Lewis should get a couple musicians and go on tour and play both of your solo albums.
I know.
That would
I've,
be
I've
fun,
actually
man.
I've actually daydreamed that a couple times, going, you know, that'd be kind of fun
Yeah, yeah.
if
Yeah,
if
maybe
Lewis and I
maybe so.
can get the right band together. It'd be a lot of fun. There's only a couple problems with that reality, but if if that's what God wants to happen, reality doesn't have any
Yeah,
bearing on it. But it does kind of discourage you. You're like, well, let me
sure.
see. I do have a job that I have to go to every
Right,
day.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so I really can't just up and leave. And so does Lewis. So yeah, so it makes things a little
yeah.
difficult, but it's sure fun to think about. And you know, if everything lines up, uh, yeah, we're both open to doing something like that. That'd be great.
That's awesome. So on your album, Broken Bones and Bullet Holes,
Hmm.
what was it like working with Bill Baffert as far as producing the album, and Scott Waters as far as your art design?
Oh man, those guys are awesome. Those guys are great. What I asked of them was not really fair. Um, so we had Lewis's album done, right? And it's just getting ready. He's getting ready. I think we just sent it to Bill, and he'd already worked with Scott and got it all done. And Bill was like, okay, we'll put Lewis's. It had a scheduled drop date for, I don't know, late summer, right? And so I start working on this record, just kind of thinking, I'll show it to Bill. If he doesn't want to do it, I'll just do it for myself. This is just me doing what I got to do. And so I didn't get any promises from him, or I didn't ask him for nothing. I just started working on it, and I'm getting songs done or further along, and I'm showing them to Lewis, and he's like, dude, you got to show this to Bill. He might want to put this out. And so I'm like, I don't want to bother him. I don't want to bug him. And so after Lewis says that a couple different times, I'm like, you know what? I'll just send it. Bill's busy. I'm not going to bug Bill. I'll just send it to Scott. Scott's busy too, but Scott has the ability to get back a little faster than Bill, and not saying anything against Bill. I love him.
Sure.
So I sent Scott something, and he was pretty blown away.
Okay.
So and that's saying something, because I think Scott sees the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I think he's got a discriminating palate, and
Yeah.
I
He's
I think
honest, and I appreciate that.
yeah. And so that meant a lot. He was like, I'm going to put this in front of Bill, whether he wants it or not, and
Yeah.
he has to move on this. And so Scott was a really great just promoter. Basically,
Yeah.
he just took I sent him another song, and I was like, it just, yeah, when you get time, and he basically almost had to sit Bill down, was like, you're going to listen to this now.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then once Bill heard it, he was like, oh my goodness. He's like, yeah. So then Bill was on board. So um so we're talking, really, by the time I finished it and we got the drum, because so the drums were the last to go on. So we got the drums done over the summer, and it was pretty much, I think I had it mastered by about October. Yeah, so basically October 1st, end of September, it was done. And Bill was getting ready to put Lewis's out, and see, he somehow, he never gets a record turned around that fast. He has so many that he's
Yeah.
working on. And so Scott and I worked on the artwork, and Scott was right on it. And yeah, so I got a pretty good jump on the cover, um, and just had some ideas on what I wanted on the inside. And Scott was right there with me, and I mean, not in person, but just online. He was really fast, and yeah, so we got it put together. And Bill was like, okay, let's just do yours and Lewis's release date, basically November 1st. We'll just do them both together.
Oh
Be
wow.
like a
Yeah.
be like a Latter Rain combo,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it was kind of unfortunate for Lewis, because we finished his record at the beginning of 24, and he basically had to wait for. It wasn't my intention to dump that on Bill and to
Yeah.
make Lewis wait either, but it turned out pretty cool.
Okay.
It turned out,
Awesome.
so, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. Wrapping things up here. Tell us,
Yeah.
tell the what is one thing about you that nobody watching this might not know?
Mm. Kind of an introvert. I'm kind
Okay.
of shy.
Yeah.
I
I
you
think a
know
lot of musicians probably are though.
Right. Right.
right. I don't like crowds. I don't like big cities. I don't like a lot of that stuff.
So you're not going to be setting up a table for autographs here anytime soon. That's
I already did some for
you,
Bill. Bill asked
okay.
me to, and
Nice.
I'll do whatever Bill asked me to. He really came through big time.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, but actually something that I mean that's pretty general, but something that probably a lot of people don't know is that I grew up outdoorsman, a hunter.
Okay.
So I've either got a gun in my hand or a guitar in my hand.
There
So,
you go.
Nice. There we go. I'm with it.
so
All right.
it's just I'm just a product of where I was raised. I
You
just
sound like
was
Ted Nugent Jr. there.
oh Uncle Uncle Ted and I, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds like a book.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Uncle Ted to invite me out to his ranch out there to do a little guitar jamming and a little hunting. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would. It'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, word. Well, my last question is, what is your favorite thing about being a Christian?
Oh man. Um, I I think the favorite thing is when you finally get over yourself and you ask God to use you.
Mm.
It's not in big ways. Every Christian artist thinks, Lord, I want you to use me and make me famous. So I can reach people. Yeah, that's not that. It's just when you just say, Hey, Lord, I'm doing this. Like I'll give you an example, just real quick. Just I had this gig at this horrible location, horrible bar, just gross, just a dive bar, and I was mad because my buddy had booked it. I was like, it was not my first choice to play there, so I had a real bad attitude, and I'm packing up my guitars, and I'm just in a mood, and I just pause, and I just go, Lord, make something out of this. This is horrible. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be there. Use this if you can. I mean, I know you can, but go ahead, Lord. See what you can do. I had an old student stumble by,
Hmm.
said I wasn't gonna stop, but for some reason I just felt like going in. I don't know what it was today, but I felt like going in. And there you were, Mr. Smith, playing guitar, and I got so excited. And so I'm talking to him after the gig, and he was like, "Yeah, in a couple of days I'm going off to jail." I, basically just told this story about some stuff that happened in his life and how he was just in a really bad place. And I just started to minister to him, and had no compunctions about trying to minister to him. And I was like, you get yourself a Bible and you take it with you, and and you know you can God can make something good out of this. And he was like, I promise I will. I'm going to read my Bible every day. And I was like, okay. So yeah, God can do something like that. That's just totally,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just so great. So yeah, whatever you're going through, man, just that's what's so great is whatever you're going through, you just ask the Lord to make something good come out of it, and to use you. Be open to having God do something.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So,
obedient.
yeah, yeah. So, Brad, what can the Christian metal community do to support Brad Smith?
Oh, that's the hardest thing. I know it doesn't sound believable, but I hate promoting. I hate posting my stuff and going, "Hey, listen to this." Hey, you have to do it as an artist. You have to.
Right.
And I'm not, and I don't make any money off of it. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to. It costs me thousands of dollars to make a album, so I'm not trying to make money. I don't. It doesn't go to me anyway. It goes to it goes to Bill's uh, a record label, but it's part of advancing what we love. I want people to hear what I wrote. I want people to
Mm.
hear what I do and what I think is important, and I want them to hear. Yeah, I want them to hear my music. I want it to bless them. I want them to be to like it and to show someone that maybe doesn't know the Lord and say, hey, what do you think of this? And use it as a tool to open doors. That's what I want to happen. And if it means you buy a CD for a friend, that'd be cool. Or you just send a friend the Spotify, whatever. I just want people to listen to it. And uh, I want Bill's a label to keep doing what they're doing. I think
Yeah.
it's a really great thing for him to give me a shot. I mean, I'm just a guitar player, and he gave me a shot to have a CD. Hey, look, I got a CD. But yeah, yeah, if they want to help out, that would be great. Just and support the bands you like. Even if you even if you don't really care for the band, you don't want to buy their CD, share something. Just say, hey, I know one of these guys, or here, and just repost and share. And yeah, we're all a big family trying to help
Yeah.
each other.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, man. Yeah, that's right, man. Y'all, go to Rocks Records, buy the album, listen to Spotify, YouTube, and like I said, introduce it to a friend, man. This has been great.
yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your time.
Yeah, I'll be in your
thank you
area.
guys for making this happen.
That's cool.
I appreciate getting to talk to you guys, and it's really cool.
Yeah.